Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be taking a look at this 2007 Cooper Lighting OVL. So this light fixture I received recently in a trade, and now we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. It's kind of interesting. It's a little bit of a rarer fixture considering it's fairly new. The Cooper Lighting OVL, I don't think it really sold that well. And the American Electric 327 is a lot nicer quality, and they are pretty common compared to these fixtures, so I am glad to have it in my collection, although it does have quite a few flaws. So this fixture has its roots when about 1957, when Westinghouse introduced the OV50, the same fixture that I have, and I've already done a video of that fixture. It's the version with the fin and the split door, and then they had some minor changes, and then they removed the fin, and it became a single door fixture, just like the one you see here. However, it would have been silver, and it had been had the Westinghouse name all over it. This one is made after Crouse-Hinds bought them, and then Cooper bought Crouse-Hinds. It's basically the same fixture. The insides are a little bit different, and of course, it's gray. They also moved the photocell. Westinghouse had moved it towards the back of the fixture, and then Cooper moved it back up towards the front. Now, my fixture does not have a photocell socket, which is kind of normal for these things. These very large fixtures are more commonly found in parking lots where they don't have a photocell, just like my Pemco fixture, because they would all be turned on and off on the same switch. Now, whether I'm sure that would be on a photocell, but that one photocell would control all of the lights in that one lot, so each individual fixture doesn't need that that functionality. So I don't have an actual OV50 to compare to this to, at least an OV50 version like this with the single door. However, I'm certain that they are much higher quality than this. This fixture is pretty rough. It's corroded in quite a few places. It's not anodized like Westinghouse would have done. And you see Westinghouse fixtures that are way older than this, and they're in remarkably good condition. And this one is only a few years old, and it's already got some paint flaking off, and then the powdery oxidized aluminum is starting to occur on this fixture. The glass is also pretty bad. I know the Westinghouse glass is generally really nice on these, but this is a newer fixture. The mold has been used a lot, and the glass is in pretty sorry condition. I mean, it's not chipped up or anything, or it's not really discolored. This is how it would have left the factory, and it's just really not impressive at all. So, with that said, we'll take a closer look at the fixture and see how it runs. Alright, so we've got the handheld camera, and start looking at the top. It's really simple. It's got a bunch of scuffing on it. It was transported, and that's just kind of what's happened to it. It's generally in pretty good shape, just that top is really scratched up. So looking at the front here, you can see the latch, which is actually really nice compared to the other Cooper and even the older OV50 latch. This latch just looks a little bit nicer. I think it's a little bit better quality. Yeah, the glass here with the typical pattern where the Westinghouse would have gone. Pretty simple design. The paint, I do like the way that these look in gray. It's just that the paint on this is really pretty much crap. And then on the back, we've got our two exposed bolts, just like Westinghouse did, to secure the little hinge for the door. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing flipped over, and we can look at the bottom. So here we go, the fixture is flipped on its back, and we can see some more of the details. Right here is the hinge, which uses non-stainless components, which causes this very ugly streak. And the wonderful 1000-watt mercury vapor sticker with a little MV a text on the bottom, typical of Cooper. I should probably get this replaced, but for now, it's not. This little circle is where the Westinghouse logo should be, but of course it's not a Westinghouse fixture. No drip holes. And the Hall of Fame made glass that, again, just really just doesn't do that much. But we do come up here again, you can see how that latch looks, and it is overall a pretty nice fixture. It's just not really that much going on. Alright, so now it's time to pop this open, and this is actually kind of a scary process. You just pull back the latch and pull it up. Now I'm hoping this will go off without any hiccups. Pull up on this really hard. I don't want this to break. And now, see if this will even come off. Oh, okay. That's pretty good. I wasn't expecting it to do that well first try, but there we go. The door is off. Alright, so here's the door isolated, so we can take a look at this. There's not really much to say about it. It's a pretty typical door. However, this the casting on this is pretty thick. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 3/32 thick, 2/16. I'm not really sure. I haven't measured it, but it's a pretty thick cast. My Cooper OVX was paper thin. It was easily half this thickness. So honestly, you can't even really do much. It's really a nice casting as far as the metal is. If only they had managed to anodize this, it would have been a really nice fixture, I think. But on the inside, we have these two places here, and these were intended for a capacitor. You would put a capacitor on each of these, strap it down here with these holes, and this doesn't have capacitors on this because it's a Cooper version. This is what Westinghouse used, and then Cooper changed the location of the capacitor to make it cheaper to manufacture. But yeah, I don't have a Westinghouse version, but if it was a Westinghouse, it would have the capacitors located here. This one only has one capacitor, so it'd probably just go right there, but it's kind of a bit of a pain to get that because your door is then electrically connected to the rest of the fixture, which means you have to plug and unplug the fixture if you want to remove the door. Look at the casting here. Bunch of marks. Assuming each mark was made each year. So, yeah, right there is the little pin, which is completely rusted out. This thing is kind of crappy. You can see how the paint's coming off. Like, come on, guys. This is really pathetic. I think this screw hole right here is where your little tab would be able to hold the wires in place when you had the capacitor mounted there. Now, this fixture needs to be cleaned up pretty badly. I gave it a quick wipe down, but I'll have to get around to giving it a deep clean because it does deserve it. But you can see the casting is all cracked, and I can't really blame Cooper here because Westinghouse did this too. My OV15 is like this. I think my newer single door OV25 is like this, so it's not just Cooper. Now the lens is attached with 4 very big lens tabs, which I like. Same thing Westinghouse does. This nicely disperses the pressure. Now this one chipped, but all the other ones are fine. And even when it did chip, it's still not going to fall out. It's held in securely enough. I really like this. It's better than the Westinghouse OV50 with the really thin tabs. But I mean, it's pretty typical. Now on the front here is the cast-in part for the latch. It's really simple. Just like every other Cooper fixture, it has 2 little holes here. I don't know what that's for. Now the glass, I'm not going to take the glass out of this simply because it's a pain. I don't really want to have to take it out. So we'll take a look at the logo with the free-floating camera. Let's see what's on the glass. Street side. Hall of Fame made. I don't know if there's anything else on this glass, so I'll just kind of do a quick pass over. But this glass is really nice. It's the same glass as OV50 used. I like the pattern. It's really nice and simple. It's got this, which is not typical of Hall of Fame. This is typical of Pyrex, but Hall of Fame did that. Very simple beaded design. That's pretty old. I don't remember. I think this glass design came out in the late 60s. So, still made, but it's using the original mold, so that's why it's not exactly pretty. If we look at the side here, there's all of these imperfections in the glass, just like the 327 has. I don't know if you'll be able to catch it on the camera, but this glass is all sorts of, you can see the wrinkles in the glass from where I assume the mold itself was cracking. Not a very good look. But I'm not honestly too bothered with it because it doesn't really have to look perfect to go up, 30 feet up on a pole. No one's going to notice it. So, yeah, the quality kind of sucks, but in this application, it's not a huge problem. So here's the upper housing, and let's take a look at how this works. So, right towards the back here, we'll start with the slip fitter and the hinge. The hinge here is just screwed on. It's pretty simple, just like how Westinghouse did it. The slip fitter uses these pieces of threaded rod that are screwed into the thing. This one, I think they're glued in, but one of them, mine came loose. Not a huge deal, but you have to be careful and make sure that doesn't fall out. And then these simple piece of slip fitter straps, which are just what Westinghouse has been using since the 60s, so they work. They're perfectly fine. If you want, I believe these are only made for a 2-inch pipe, but it's got the holes in there where you could probably put an adapter in for 1 1/4 inch, but I don't know if these were available with that. And we've got a sticker here for everyone that likes to look at those. And there's another sticker here that's ripped off, and a sticker here. This is where you would put your ground wire and the terminal block. These Cooper terminal blocks, they're a little nicer than the American Electric ones, but it's really just a basic, not very exciting terminal block. There's a little stopper for the pole. There's a little hole there. I don't know what you would put there, but there's a hole. Now the ballast is the most interesting thing here. This is the original Cooper ballast with the codes on it. You guys can probably read that, hopefully. See, it's the original ballast to this fixture. It's pretty rusty, and well, of course, it's not coated with anything, so that's just going to happen. It's a very big ballast. It's probably the biggest ballast I have. A very nice one, though. I guess I shouldn't say that because these Cooper fixtures seem to be using not quite quality components. I've heard that they do like to fail early, and that's very possible, but that might just be because of the capacitor. I don't know the status of this capacitor. It probably needs to be changed. But this is the capacitor that came with it. I don't have any means right now to test it, but with how little I'm going to be using this for now, it's not a huge deal. This is multi-tap. You have a bunch of different selections here, all covered up here so they don't cause any issues, but it's nice to have a fixture that's multi-tap because you can just put it on whatever voltage setting that you have available. You don't have to worry about step up or step down transformers. We'll move on to the lamp socket, which is just weird. I don't know if the Westinghouse ones are like this, but that's the lamp socket. Three different settings. Everything here, I like this casting. It looks like a nice high quality piece of metal here. The socket is just clamped in. socket is made in China. And then the reflector has a sticker on the inside. Kind of faded, but you can read it. And the big old reflector with the gasket that's coming loose. Pretty simple. It's in pretty good shape though. Now to pull this reflector out, there's a little tab on the back that I haven't experimented with, but you would get in there, pull this back, and your reflector would come out. I'm not going to take it out right now. There's no reason to. It's a really simple reflector that's just like every other reflector. So there's really no reason to pull this out. And then the latch in the front, which is, if you guys are familiar with the Cooper latches, this is way different, but I like this design a little better. It just feels nicer. Feels more solid. So that's the fixture. Only thing that's kind of annoying is this will get stuck up underneath the reflector and you have to pull it back out. But it's not too bad. So it's that's really all there is to say. It's just kind of a modern, boring fixture, but it's a bit rare. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this put together and watch it turn on. It's pretty important that before we put this together, we need a lamp for it. Now this is coated phosphor lamp, but there was a piece of glass that broke inside of it, so all that phosphor got scratched off, and it was already scratching it a lot, and it was pretty ugly looking. I just went ahead and finished it, and it'll make it act more like a clear bulb, which I like. I prefer clear over coated bulbs anyways. I don't know who made this bulb. I don't see any etches on it, but it's just kind of your pretty modern mercury vapor light bulb. So let's put this in here. Now, one thing I would have liked to see is this bulb is really big and heavy and it has a lot of leverage. I would have liked to see some sort of support here to clip onto this part of the BT bulb. We can hold it in place like the American Electric did with their 1000 watt sodium fixture. I think that would be a really nice thing to add onto the fixture to make it a little bit nicer. That mercury vapor bulb is really big and I'm really scared about it getting broken, so having a little extra support would not hurt. All right, so the fixture's here. I flipped it around, and now let's get this door on. And this thing gives me trouble, so maybe this will work without too much issue. Oh, that looks like it's on. Now the biggest problem is you have to constantly be pushing up on the thing to keep it from breaking. Alright, I have to pull out the latch, which got stuck underneath the reflector, and close it. Done. And now it's ready to be turned on. Alright everyone, here is my 2007 Cooper Lighting OVL in 1000 watts mercury vapor, turning on in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so here's the fixture. It's probably pretty close to full brightness now. Yeah, it's very loud. And it almost certainly needs a new capacitor. It is very bright, but it's not as in-your-face bright as my 327 is. Now keep in mind that's metal halide, which is rated at a higher intensity, but this probably needs a new capacitor. I'm almost sure of it. But yeah, it does look nice. You can see all the bead pattern. And it is really, really bright. And because the bulb is missing a lot of the color, or the phosphor, it's got a nice sort of clear mercury lamp, but it is better color than a regular clear bulb, but is not quite that deluxe color, which I do like. So let's go ahead and turn this thing off. That bulb is real hot, so I'm going to have to wait a little bit to open that up again. Alright, so this has been a video of my 2007 Cooper Lighting OVL. Hope you guys enjoy this video. I will note that this is my first video. I'm just got a tripod. I went thrift store and found a tripod, so let me know what you guys think. I think it made the production a lot easier, and maybe the camera angles will be a little bit nicer now. So with that said, thanks to everyone for watching, and bye for now.